wasn't a tall man. He wasn't big, nothing. To me, he looked like, that wasn't the one.
That was Danny Boy speaking on Biggie's alleged killer, someone long considered more myth than man. But now, Biggie's hitman has finally stepped forward and revealed everything. And yes, everything including who gave the order. Here are the details. Biggie's killer finally confesses. In a shocking courtroom moment, Biggie's alleged hitman stood up, cameras flashing, attorneys speechless, and confessed. He even apologized. But what sent chills through the room was his claim. He didn't act alone. He was ordered to do it. Before diving into that explosive confession, we need to rewind to Biggie's final 48 hours. Why? Because everything he did and said now connects to what we've just learned. Asterisk, asterisk. March 5th, 1997, San Francisco. Asterisk, asterisk, Biggie appeared on 107.7's The Doghouse radio show with JV and Elvis. He was in good spirits but clearly exhausted. Then, out of nowhere, he dropped a chilling remark, one that now feels like a warning we all missed.
You know what, sometimes I'd just rather be dead, because in heaven or hell I can just chill out and I don't have anyone stressing on me.
And just like that, he tried to laugh it off. But behind the smile was a man drowning in stress. Biggie had just finished his album Life After Death and was flying coast to coast to promote it. He had taken two major blows, one to the heart, the other to the mind. First, the drive-by shooting that killed his former friend Tupac Shakur. Second, the growing paranoia that he might be next. He even admitted it during that same radio interview.
Somebody might try to get me, but I'm just going to make it hard as that.
And it wasn't just a passing fear, it was a calculated, looming threat. 3 days later, on March 8th, Biggie attended the Soul Train Music Awards in Los Angeles. Witnesses said he appeared upbeat, calm, and even hopeful that the East Coast-West Coast beef was finally fading. In fact, during a separate interview, Biggie publicly stated that he was over the drama.
It wasn't really a beef to me in the beginning. This happened in relation to East Coast, West Coast.
But peace wasn't on everyone's agenda. That night, Vibe magazine hosted a party at the Peterson Automotive Museum in Los Angeles. By the early hours of March 9th, the venue was packed wall to wall with celebrities, producers, and heavy security. At around 12:30 a.m., the fire marshal shut it down due to overcrowding. Outside, things escalated quickly. Puff Daddy's SUV led the convoy out. Biggie followed close behind in a green Chevy Suburban, riding with his crew, Lil Cease, G-Money, and his security, D-Rock. Then read lights, silence, then dash gunshots, Lil Cease, sitting just feet away, later described the moment in graphic, unfiltered detail. It was sudden, brutal, and over in seconds. The shooter pulled up beside Biggie's car, fired multiple rounds, and vanished into the night.
Well, a car just rolled up, started popping in the car. Didn't say nothing, didn't yell nothing.
Everyone ducked. Everyone scrambled decks except Biggie. Store wouldn't open. He'd been hit 4 times, and 1 bullet had fatally pierced his heart. When they reached the hospital, security guard Gene Deal pulled Biggie from the SUV.
When he had soiled himself, I dropped his leg, man. It's like all my strength had left my body.
Deal looked at Puff and yelled, "He's dead." Puff didn't want to believe it. No one did. But the truth was undeniable. Just like that, Christopher Wallace's father, husband, son, and hip-hop icon was gone. Now, here's where things take a dark turn. A special task force was assembled to investigate Biggie's murder, led by former LAPD detective Greg Kading. After years of silence, legal battles, and buried leads, Kading confirmed the unthinkable. There were names, witnesses, and most shocking of all, someone was granted immunity.
I think Poochie was involved. I think Suge Knight orchestrated it through his, at the time, girlfriend / baby mama. So I do believe Poochie was directly involved.
According to Greg Kading, the man behind the trigger was Wardell Poochie Fowson, alleged Bloods gang member and close affiliate of Suge Knight's camp. Poochie had long been linked to several unsolved murders. That wasn't the real bombshell. The real shock was that Suge Knight's girlfriend, reportedly, the intermediary who helped arrange the hit, was granted full immunity in exchange for her testimony. This immunity deal was never made public until Kading revealed it in a post-retirement interview. Kading claimed Suge Knight was too calculated to ever incriminate himself. He never said anything direct, never left a trail. So the immunity was wasted until this year in a jaw-dropping courtroom moment that had reporters flooding Twitter. A man with direct involvement in the shooting finally came forward. He wasn't a bystander, he was a key player. And he said 5 words that silenced the entire room. He confessed in full, claiming he was hired by someone within Suge Knight's circle. He described the car, the timing, and the weapons. He even mentioned Lil Cease yelling at girls from the SUV windows. I'm something only someone on the scene could have known. He said the killing wasn't about East Coast versus West Coast. It was personal, a statement. And most disturbingly, he said Biggie was just collateral damage. The confession forced investigators to reopen old files, including the LAPD's heavily criticized handling of the crime scene. That leads us to one of the most haunting pieces of this story. Biggie's mother, Voletta Wallace. Voletta spent millions fighting for justice. She sued the LAPD, alleging they helped cover up Biggie's murder due to ties with Death Row Records. According to court records, her lawsuit was not dismissed for lack of evidence, but because the LAPD refused to settle. Worn down emotionally and financially, Voletta eventually had to let the case go. But she never stopped seeking answers. Years later, she sat face-to-face with Greg Kading, the man who reopened the case. He described her as gracious, spiritual, and strong. She wasn't seeking revenge. She just wanted the truth. And after today's courtroom confession, she may finally have it. But what was Biggie's own state of mind just hours before he died? For that, we turn to his final radio interview, long forgotten, but deeply revealing. In it, Biggie hints that he was being watched, maybe even hunted. And then he says something no one paid attention to. Now.
You gotta mature, sure, until something may happen to you, like you going to jail or you catching a case or somebody trying to do something to you.
He sensed something was coming, he just didn't know how soon. What makes this story even more tragic is that the man confessing wasn't acting alone. 2 others are still out there walking free. Now, we dig into the pay-for-it conspiracy, money trail, Suge Knight's secret prison conversations, and the unreleased audio tapes. The darkest parts of Biggie's murder are only beginning to come to light in the streets. There was always a rule. If you're going to make a move, the money clean and the mouths shut. But when Christopher Wallace was executed in cold blood, the silence broke in. What lay behind it was far more sinister than a random drive-by or rap beef. This wasn't about gang ties or one night. It was business, blood money. It hit ordered, like takeout clean, quick, and paid in full. The trail starts with a prison phone call. After Biggie's murder on March 9, 1997, Suge Knight was still behind bars for a probation violation, but prison phones kept ringing. Suge wasn't just talking to lawyers, he was in touch with people who had reached. People like Wardell Pucci, Faust, the alleged hitman, named by Detective Greg Kading. The LAPD task force uncovered testimony that Suge communicated with Pucci through his girlfriend, who acted as the go-between. She was granted full immunity. Kading confirmed this, and the FBI even found a bank transfer the day after Biggie's murder, not in Suge's name, but linked to someone close to him. You don't need fingerprints when there's a money trail and a motive on. Suge had both. To Suge, Biggie's death sent a clear message. The game wasn't over just because Tupac was gone. What makes this even darker is that Suge didn't bother hiding it. While he never confessed directly, his interviews and prison tapes show a man gloating in code hinting at revenge and payback without saying it outright. In one leaked deposition, Suge was asked if he knew who killed Biggie. His answer, maybe I do, maybe I don't. Ask Puff. Puff Daddy, now known as Diddy, has always denied any involvement, claiming only the role of a grieving friend. But insiders share a more complex version of events. Gene Deal, a member of Puff's security team that night, offered a different account. He said Puff was warned about threats in LA and that Biggie didn't want to attend the Soul Train Awards. Puff pushed for the trip anyway. And what followed wasn't just grief, it was possible guilt. Gene also claimed that after Biggie's death, Puff distanced himself from people who were there that night, not just emotionally, but financially. He stopped working with security members who spoke with police. And then there's the SUV. According to Lil Cease, who was riding with Biggie, there were no warning signs. It felt like a regular night in LA, girls on the corner, music playing until the gunshots hit.
Oh, just rolled up, start popping in the car. Didn't say nothing.
And when they looked over, Biggie wasn't moving. Gene Deal, who helped carry him into the ER, later revealed something so gut-wrenching it silenced the entire courtroom.